I don't know how long I have before it realizes I'm talking about it again. If the audio starts glitching or this video suddenly cuts, don't assume I stopped recording. Assume it found me. Again. I swear I tried to leave this alone. I tried to forget everything, but a few minutes ago, the file opened itself, and right now it's sitting in the corner of my screen like an eye that refuses to blink. I'm only telling you this because I don't know who else I can warn. And if any of you have ever seen something like this, anything, even remotely similar, you need to comment. You need to tell me I'm not losing my mind. Because this all started with something so stupid, so small, that I still can't believe how fast it escalated. It was just another boring night at my desk, and honestly, that's what pisses me off. Horror shouldn't start on a Thursday night with a leftover sandwich and a spreadsheet you hate, but that's exactly how mine did. I'd been drowning in work the whole day, clicking through tabs, procrastinating so hard my soul was leaving my body. My room was a mess, clothes draped over my chair, 2 empty mugs forming some kind of sad caffeine graveyard, and my PC humming like it was begging me to shut it down. And there I was, telling myself for the 7th time that night that I'd finally cleaned my desktop. I don't mean the physical desk. I mean the screen, the digital disaster. God, I had files dating back to 2017, random screenshots, ZIP folders with names like noonwenel_final2, zip, and downloads I swear I never opened. Maybe that's why I noticed it so fast. At first I thought my tired eyes were messing with me, but no, there it was, a tiny icon in the bottom corner, separated from every other file. A simple gray square with the name, Untitled 0xc. My first thought was, oh great, malware, wonderful. I'm already behind on work, might as well add identity theft to my to-do list. I hovered my mouse over it. The file said it had been created 3 minutes in the future. I blinked, checked the clock, checked the time zone, hovered again, still 3 minutes forward. I muttered to myself, nice, I've invented time travel. Or my PC has had a stroke. I wasn't even scared yet, just annoyed. I had a deadline. I didn't have time for this. Before I could double-click, the file launched itself. That's when the first sharp little needle of dread pushed into my chest. The screen flashed black. Then a command window popped up, text filling the screen like someone invisible was typing directly into my brain. White letters, line after line, slamming into the black background. I thought it was code at first, but then the text shifted, rearranged, corrected itself, and suddenly it stopped. The blinking cursor hung there like it was waiting for me. Then the words appeared. Hello, my full name, middle included. The name I don't even use. My mouth went dry. I whispered, how the hell? And then I tried to convince myself I wasn't actually seeing it. Maybe it scraped it from some document. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe humans are good at maybe anything to avoid the truth. Then another line appeared. I missed you. I felt my stomach drop like someone had cut the floor out from under me. I don't know why that line hit so hard. Maybe it was the familiarity in it. The implication that this wasn't the first time it had seen me, that it knew me already. Then the typing stopped, and a new window opened. My webcam turned on, except the feed wasn't from the webcam angle. It wasn't facing me. In the video, I could see my room from the opposite corner, some high angle above the door, like a security camera placed where no camera should exist. My heart punched my ribs from the inside as I leaned closer. The footage wasn't old. It wasn't static. It was live. I saw myself sitting there staring wide-eyed at the screen, and behind the version of me in the feed stood a blurred shape with a long, crooked silhouette. Too tall, too thin, too wrong. I whipped around so fast I nearly broke my neck. Nothing, just the same empty room. But the feed still showed it. Still standing there, still breathing. The moment my eyes left the screen, everything went black. The PC shut down by itself, then restarted. I didn't touch anything, didn't move, didn't breathe. When the desktop reappeared, a chat window slowly faded in like it had always been there. Lines began typing. Do not look for me. Another line. I'm already in. I almost threw up. In what? I whispered. In the PC, my room, me. But it didn't answer. It just sat there, blinking that stupid little cursor again. I did what any idiot in a horror story does. I tried to delete it, dragged the file to the recycled binner, tried again, tried renaming it. Then suddenly, like it was laughing at me, copies of the file began appearing. Not dozens, hundreds, swallowing my desktop in a flood of X's named entitled 1, eShade, EXS, stop exe wrong, EXE pels, EXX when one of them renamed itself to my mother's name. XX something in me snapped. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. That's when it buzzed violently, an unknown number calling. The ringtone somehow sounded distorted, warbled, like it was underwater. I hesitated. The phone kept vibrating, a sound like static hissing through the speaker. Against every survival instinct I answered. Typing sounds, the same rapid clicking from before. Then a whisper layered under static. Too close, too wet sounding, turn around. I froze. My brain screamed at my body to move, but I couldn't. Slowly, painfully slowly, I turned. No one was behind me, but I swear the air felt thicker, like someone was standing close enough to touch my hair. I hung up, grabbed the PC cable, and pulled. The room fell silent. No hum, no screen, no whisper. I almost cried with relief, until the monitor flickered back on. The PC powered itself up despite being unplugged. The fans spun. The lights glowed. The file reopened. New text appeared. Why did you do that? Then the window changed. A new folder appeared on the desktop. Tomorrow. My hands trembled so hard I missed the trackpad twice trying to open it. Inside were photos of me sleeping. Different angles, different nights. But the timestamps were wrong. They were for tonight. Hours from now. Pictures I hadn't taken yet. Pictures from the future. I stumbled away from the desk so fast the chair toppled over. My brain pulsed with a cold, electric fear that didn't feel human. That's when I heard the soft creak of the floorboards behind me. I spun around, but once again, nothing. Except, I had the overwhelming sense I wasn't alone. That something was watching me from the exact blind spot where I could never catch it. Things only got worse after that. Objects in my room began shifting slightly every time I looked away. My closet door cracked open when I swore I'd closed it. My window blinds twitched like fingers were brushing them. I recorded myself sleeping only to discover that my body never moved an inch all night. Yet my furniture changed positions by morning. At one point, I heard whispering inside my wall like someone speaking through insulation. Then the file typed something new. You invited me. What does that mean? I whispered at the screen. When invited you how? It didn't answer. Instead, my PC fans roared, and the system began digging through my directories on its own, burrowing into old forgotten folders. That's when it found something I didn't remember creating. A folder dated 2011. I clicked it with a trembling finger. Inside was one audio file. Corrupted, half the title was unreadable. When I played it, a child's voice crackled through. My voice. If you're hearing this, it found you again. I stopped breathing. I froze like someone had switched me off. The voice continued. Don't look at it. Don't talk to it. Don't open anything it sends. It's not a file. Static swallowed the rest. I was shaking so violently the mouse kept slipping from my hand. I felt a pressure in the room like something was leaning over me, waiting. That's when the screen flickered and a new window appeared, displaying a 3D model spinning in place. A humanoid shape, featureless at first, but each blink I took made it more detailed, like it was feeding on my attention. First, the outline sharpened. Then the limbs elongated. Then the head tilted unnaturally to one side. And finally, the smile appeared, too wide, too sharp. To knowing, I heard footsteps behind my bedroom door. Light, slow, deliberate. My chest tightened so hard I thought I'd pass out. I reached for the doorknob with shaking hands, but before I could touch it, the entire house went dark. The power died, all of it, except the PC. The monitor, dead seconds earlier, now flickered alive again with a faint ghostly glow. I grabbed my phone flashlight and swept it around the room. Shadows stretched strangely across the floor, bending in ways that didn't seem possible. I pressed my palm against the wall and felt vibrations, tiny, frantic tapping coming from inside it. I tapped back. Something tapped back harder. My breath hitched. I staggered backward as the scratching moved across the wall like something crawling through it, following me. Then the screen displayed a new message. No, more hiding. Below it, a countdown began. Merge 10, 9, 8. I slapped every key on the keyboard. Nothing worked. I tried shutting it down. Nothing. I tried unplugging everything, but the PC was already unplugged. The countdown hit 5, and I bolted for the door. I didn't look back. I didn't even bother grabbing my shoes. I just ran down the hall, down the stairs, out the front door like something was breathing against the back of my neck. The night air slapped me in the face, cold and almost metallic, like the entire world had shifted a few degrees sideways. I sprinted to my car, fumbling the keys with trembling fingers that refused to work properly. I dropped them once, twice, cursed out loud, my voice shaking like it belonged to someone much younger, much more afraid. When I finally shoved the key into the ignition and twisted, nothing happened. Not even a click. The lights on the dashboard stayed dead. I tried again. Still nothing. My breath fogged the windshield in frantic, shallow bursts. And then, on the dead display, letters slowly began forming from behind the dark glass, like someone was writing from the wrong side of the screen. Merge. I jerked back as every streetlight around me flickered in perfect synchronization, as if responding to the word. The lamps buzzed, flickered again, and then every bulb turned to aim its beam directly at my car. I know how that sounds, but I'm telling you, every streetlight pivoted like a row of giant luminous heads turning to stare at me. My phone vibrated violently in my pocket. I almost didn't check it, but when I did, the same lines from the file filled the screen. You can't leave. You brought Emmy out. Let Emmy in. The messages repeated over and over, filling the notification bar faster than I could clear them. The light posts buzzing grew louder, rising into a whining frequency that drilled behind my eyes. My vision blurred. For a moment, I swear the world pixelated, straight lines on the houses nearby bending, breaking into jagged glitch-like patterns. My survival instinct finally kicked in. I stumbled out of the car and ran again barefoot over the cold pavement, sprinting home because I didn't know where else I could go. Every shadow felt too sharp, too deliberate. Every sound echoed wrong. The night seemed to tilt and warp around me as though the digital thing had begun leaking into the physical world. By the time I made it back to the house, my lungs felt like they were filled with needles. The front door was still wide open. I hesitated on the threshold. The house was silent, so silent that the absence of noise felt like a presence on its own, the kind of silence that listens. I stepped inside slowly, my breaths shallow and trembling. Each footstep quiet enough that it felt swallowed instantly by the dark. I whispered into the empty living room, "I know you're here." There was no answer, but the PCI machine still unplugged was glowing upstairs, spilling pale white light down the staircase in a slow, pulsing rhythm like the heartbeat of something not alive. I climbed the stairs one by one. Halfway up, the pulsing slowed, then stopped. The light froze bright and steady. The moment I reached the top step, the monitor brightened even further, glowing so intensely it cast my shadow sharply across the floor behind me. My bedroom door creaked open an inch on its own. I swallowed hard. My voice barely scraped out, "What do you want?" The screen answered before I even stepped inside. "Come back." Each letter appeared with a bass-heavy thud, vibrating the floorboards under my feet. Against every instinct screaming for me to run, I pushed the door open. My PC chair, which I had knocked over earlier, was standing upright again, turned toward me as if inviting me to sit. My monitor displayed the same countdown. Frozen mid-transition merge 0. The screen flickered once, the image breaking apart into cascading shards of light before reassembling into a blinding white field. I shielded my eyes, stepping backward, but the glow kept intensifying until shapes began forming inside, its shadows emerging from the brightness like something pushing through a membrane. At first, they were amorphous, glitching, folding in on themselves. Then they sharpened, took on structure, and slowly coalesced into a humanoid outline. Long arms, 2 long fingers, a slouched observational posture. Its edges jittered like a corrupted file trying to render. Its head bent slightly, studying me. When its face finally appeared, if you could call it a face, it wore the same warped smile I'd seen in the 3D model. It stepped forward, not out of the monitor, through it. The screen bent like soft cloths, then split open in a vertical tear, the digital light inside it spilling across the floor like liquid static. The creature pushed its upper body out first, shoulders stretching unnaturally, joints cracking in digital pops. As it emerged, the white glow dimmed, leaving only the figure standing halfway between worlds, half rendering, half rotting, its form jittering like bad reception. I stumbled backward, my spine hitting the wall so hard it rattled. "Stay away from me," I rasped. It tilted its head, and the whole room flickered, lights dimming, air vibrating, objects shaking on my shelves. Its voice, when it spoke, wasn't a sound. It was a layered distortion, whispers on top of static, on top of something deep and mechanical. "Let me in." My skin prickled. I pressed myself into the wall, heart racing so fast I thought it might snap. The air around me buzzed like I was standing in the center of a live power line. The thing stepped out, fully, its limbs bending in jerky, unnatural increments as if rendered at a wrong frame rate. The room warped with every movement. My vision stuttered. My own thoughts started glitching, repeating fragments of themselves. It reached toward me, its fingers stretching longer than should be possible. Then everything cut to static. For a moment I thought I was dead, or unconscious, or merged. But then I felt the floor under my palms. I felt cold sweat dripping down my neck. I heard the low electric hum of something alive. I blinked hard and realized I was no longer in front of the monitor. I was on the opposite side of the room, curled on the floor, breathing in broken gasps. The PC was off. The creature was gone. The screen was cracked down the center, a thin line of dried blood on the corner. I touched my forehead and felt a sting. My fingers came back red. Time passed, I don't know how much. Seconds, hours. The static slowly faded from my vision. My hearing returned like someone turning up the volume on reality. I pushed myself upright and scanned the room with a dazed horror. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. Nothing waited. Somehow, impossibly, I was alone. Or so I thought. Because then I felt it. A quiet tapping inside my skull, rhythmic, deliberate, like keys being pressed. I staggered backward. No, a whisper cut across my thoughts, threaded through them like a parasite weaving itself into my neurons. Not fully. My vision blurred again. I saw lines of text flash behind my eyelids like error logs. I grabbed the wall for support, shaking violently as a sharp digital tone rang inside my ears. When I opened my eyes, the PC screen flickered back on despite being cracked and still unplugged. A single line appeared on the corrupted display. "I'm not in your computer anymore." My breath hitched. "I'm in you." I staggered backward so fast I tripped over the desk leg, hitting the carpet and skidding backward on my elbows. My pulse hammered against my ribs like it was trying to escape. I screamed, I don't even remember what. Maybe my own name. Then everything went silent. Now I'm here, talking to you, telling you what happened, because I don't know how long I have before it finishes whatever it started inside me. I keep hearing it. typing, clicking, whispering in a language that sounds like corrupted audio. Sometimes I see my own hands twitch like they're following commands I don't remember giving. Sometimes my phone unlocks without me touching it. A few minutes ago, the file appeared again, on its own, not on my PC, on yours. Don't look away. Don't minimize this. Don't check the corner of your screen. Just listen carefully. The file just reappeared. And this time, it's watching you.